Notion is a popular productivity app that for construction companies, we can use it to basically set up a second brain that we can link to Claude. You can have in there your business background, your standard operating procedures and template documents, your contract positions, your historic costs from projects. Then using either ChatGPT or Claude connectors, you can connect it to your preferred AI, and then AI, every time you want it to do something, can go back and read all of your relevant business context for your construction project. And because it's a cloud-based software, it's easy to set this up as a team workspace and share it with all the members of your team. So in this video, I'm going to show you both a setup that construction companies can use for Notion and also the absolute basics of how to use it. I'll also talk about why there are pros and cons for using something like Notion to store this data in context versus the markdown method approach that I've discussed in some other videos. So the first point I want to make is when we talk about a construction business's data and information, there are two layers to this. There is the business context, which is shared across projects, and then there is the project specific context. The reason this distinction is important because typically when we use tools like Claude Cowork or ChatGPT Codex for everyday work, we want to open Cowork or whatever ChatGPT Codex within the specific project we're working in. That specific project will only have access to our project information. So if I show you a little example of that, you can imagine that we have our head contract, our SWIMs, our ITPs, our registers. They all sit within the project folder that Cowork has access to. And I've already done some other videos explaining how you basically turn those documents into easy to access AI context in the form of markdown files using a project indexer method. But the problem with using a tool like Claude Cowork in this way is that it doesn't have access to our business context. So what I refer to as business context is information that sits across projects. For example, you might have your construction cost history, so costs from all your historic project, your standard operating procedures and templates, your subcontractor and supplier directory, maybe a series of lessons learned. All that information has to sit somewhere else, or you would have to copy it into every single project you do for Cowork to have access to it. The other thing is you want to make this information easy to access to your team. So you want it to sit in the cloud or in some other spot where everyone can sync and access to it. And again, if you use markdown files for this and you store them in something like SharePoint or Google Drive, the challenge with doing this is that you don't have a nice editable user interface. So that is the role I believe tools like Notion can help plug the gap. They have a nice editable user interface. They store all of your project background information and data. And because they are set up as productivity apps to be used across companies, it makes it easy to share this with your team so everybody has access to it. So with a setup like this, we have all of our business information in a format that is easy for Claude to access. So whenever I ask it to do something in Cowork within the project folder, I can get it to access my data in Notion as well. So for example, I could say, can you please prepare a draft estimate for this project referring to my cost library in Notion. What it can do here, and again, I could build this into a skill so it knows exactly where to look, but this cost history, my Claude, my setup I have has access to this information through the Notion connector. And as you can see, while it's doing this, it's searching my Notion database to get the relevant data. So again, just reiterating the point, the information that should be sitting in Notion is your overall business data and background that's sitting across projects, not the project specific information that would sit in your project folder. Okay, next I'm going to talk through this Notion structure. This workspace is laid out with 12 different sub pages within it. Now, this is a very basic overview for a fictional construction project, so it doesn't have the level of data that in practice you would have in a real construction project, but just there as to sort of show you how to set it out in a structure you could use. And I'll talk a little bit more later on about how you actually use this data to build your AI context folder. Okay, so the first page is your index page. The index page is basically the overall background of the project and a summary of how the workspace is laid out. So this is when you link Notion to Claude, this will be the first point of contact that it has. Now, the great thing about this is you don't have to actually just use this for AI. This could be like an induction page when you get a new person into your company. And it's meant to have everything a new employee or AI would need to know on day one. So who we are, what we do, what type of projects we do, what our tech stack is, and the structure of how the workspace is laid out. So if we go into the business background tab, that has who we are, the markets we work in. So for example, Bradman Construction is a commercial builder operating in Melbourne and Sydney. We deliver commercial fit outs and refurbishments. Our target project value is $500,000 to $8 million. The markets that we work in, who is in the team and the roles they do, and the tech stack we use. So for accounting, we use Xero. For project management, we use Procore. For estimating, we use Operum. For takeoff, we use ZZ Takeoff. For document storage, we use SharePoint. You could take this a step further, and if you've actually got AI workflows that connect to these software, you could have like the API keys and the connection instructions sitting within here. So how do you actually connect to the software? The next tab of the workspace is going to be your SOPs and templates. So again, the good thing about Notion, and I'll explain this setup a bit later, is you can simply create pages within pages, like almost like a nested information structure. So it's why it's much better to use than something like Word, because you can almost have your unstructured text-based data and turn it into sort of like structured Wikipedia style libraries of your business's information. Okay, so for your SOPs and templates, again, these are super simplified examples, but you could have your estimating process, your how you build estimates. You could link to the actual templates. For example, you could have a link to your actual blank Excel estimating templates. You could have rules about different markups, confidence levels. And again, this doesn't just have to be for estimating. This could be your scheduling SOP, your quality SOP, maybe even your project management framework. So for example, here we have a project controls process and a procurement process as well. Again, super simplified examples. The reason this is valuable is because when you actually set up your project, you could have AI can then read this context and factor this into the project MD it actually sets up. So in that 0.A1 context, your project MD, you could import all your SOPs into the project. Now, your templates can be either like a Notion native template, so a template that's actually sitting in Notion, or you could just simply have a link to the relevant Word or Excel file that you can download. And again, this is great for AI to access, but it's also just useful to have your templates stored in a logical place that your team can go and find. Okay, the next one is your actual cost history. So this would be a database of previous projects and the cost performance of the project. Again, very simple overview, but you could break this down into all the different trades and the actual cost codes from the project. So you basically could build an entire library of your actual project rates, what different activities cost per square meter. And again, this is useful for preparing conceptual estimates and actual preparing conceptual estimates, and also for baseline or I was looking for the correct word, but benchmarking your current project. So if you know, for example, in your cost history that on a previous project that grid suspended ceiling cost $78 per meter squared, then you know on your current project, if you're doing that same activity, it should roughly cost the same amount. You can also have within here your standard contract positions. So for example, what you accept for liquidated damages, we cap it at $2,500 a day, and we want a 10% cap on that. For payment claims, by default, we go for 40-day payment claims, and we reject any 30-day, we reject any back-to-back payment claims or anything more than a 12-month defect liability. So this becomes your standard set of contract clauses that every time you review a construction contract, AI knows your contract positions, and it can take these contract positions and compare them to your current positions, or the positions in the contract your client has sent you. Now, another one that I think is very useful is actually a subcontractor and supplier directory. So basically a list of all the different subcontractors you regularly work with, where they work for, maybe even typical rates they've quoted in the past. So for example, if you need to quickly find, again, this could duplicate a little bit with your cost library, but basically rates they've quoted, whether you ran into issues on the project, where they put in a lot of variation. So basically, I know something that as your team grows and you get more and more estimators, that everyone is always trying to find out who to speak to for certain trades and getting certain quotes. So again, this just speeds up that process. You could also use this to pre-populate your procurement register for every new project. Now, the next one I think as sort of a data file to have is just your historical lessons learned. So things like issues you ran into with projects, where you miss things in your estimates, basically all the issues you ran into on a project, you basically make this a formulaic and structured process where at the end of every project, you go and input your lessons learned from that project so you don't always make the same mistakes over and over again. So those would be, I guess, more or less the main data structures I would have in there: your cost library, your contract position, subcontractor and supplier registers. The next set of structures I would have in there would be almost like a CRM or a customer relationship management, which is basically just tracks all the bids you're doing. This can be both forward looking and retrospective looking. So all the ongoing tenders, the due dates, when they're planned to finish, what the status of the tender is. And you could also have a historic win-loss record or track your lost bids to better understand why this happened. And again, just build this business knowledge base. Again, this is useful for AI, but this is just simply useful for improving your processes. For example, if you know that you always lose a certain type of commercial fit out project because you're 20% higher than market rates, then it's probably a complete waste of time to keep tendering those projects. And a lot of the time, these insights seem obvious in retrospect, but you only can really pick them up when you have a formal process to actually go and understand why you lost the tender and how to avoid it happening again. Okay, so then in terms of your actual projects, so again, the project information would always live within your actual project folders, but it's good to have an overall register of all your ongoing projects and what is happening within that project in your business context. But this is really just about key facts and the status and maybe your overall cash position and some financial forecasting, because then you could also have in there links to the individual SharePoints or Google Drive folders, and then you could use something like the Microsoft 365 Claude connector. Wherever you want to run a business cash flow position, you could have a Claude skill that goes and pulls your project financial position from all of the relevant spreadsheets and then compiles that into your business cash position. Again, a lot of this is really understanding the data and the structures behind it, building this out, and then it becomes much easier to build effective skills and AI workflows that are much more capable because all your context, all the information AI needs to do different tasks sits in places that is easy to access. Okay, the next thing you could have in a library like this is your actual AI workflows and your AI processes. This might be something as simple as a prompt library, or it could be something more complex like skills. Again, you can have these to actually sit within Claude in your customizations, as you could have these as a plugin. There's lots of different ways to do this, but you could have some register of all these skills within your AI workflows library and to keep track of all the automations and routines you have running. Okay, the next thing you could set up is basically a memory. So what this does is you could have a system where every time someone in your team uses AI to perform a task, you can get Claude to write the example of how they've used AI, when they've used it, and what the outcome was. You could have some skill that always writes this to some memory and decision making, and basically you're tracking how your team is using AI, new ways people are coming up to do things. Store this in a database, then you could run a skill that basically has AI look at all the different ways your team has used AI to come up with new potential skills and workflows. And this basically becomes AI's own memory of all the different ways your team is using AI. Now, Claude does not let you do this natively yet. Maybe with Claude Enterprises plans, they're going to set up some sort of business memory, but again, this is another way you could improve your AI processes. Again, this is different to an actual chat memory, which obviously when you have a chat, it sits within the context window of the chat. It's different to your lessons learned, which is things you want to remember to do better on other projects. Your memory in this sense is basically understanding the processes people are using to do things using tools like Claude. They all go to this memory file. They all get written into this memory database. Then you can review the different ways people are using AI to basically come up with new skills, new workflows, and smarter ways to do things. Again, when we talk about things like this, it's all about trying to build this closed loop system where you're always getting feedback on the way things are running, the way things are done, and using it to improve your processes going forward. Again, for any of this to work, you have to set up the Notion connector to Claude. For some reason, my computer's running super slow. Up there it is. But you have to set up this connector and then Claude can access your Notion workspace. Then in terms of actually sharing all of this with your team, you move this into a team workspace and you invite the members of your team to this business context or business database. Now, I'm also not saying that you have to use Notion to do this. This is an idea of a structure and template, but you could potentially do this in something like SharePoint or Google Drive, where you have a business context folder where all this information is sitting within. Okay, so that is how I would set up this business context folder. Now I just want to talk a little bit about Notion and to familiarize yourself with the structure if you do want to go down the route of using Notion for something like this. So the first thing to understand about Notion is it's like Word docs or text documents. You have a navigation page, a navigation panel along the left-hand side, and then you can nest documents within documents. So for example, I can have this overall index page, and then within there, I can have a business background, which is a sub page. If I look at this on the left-hand side, you can see there is my overall business background page, and I've got this page, and then I can create further nested pages within this. So to create a new page in Notion, you basically press / and then you have your options for what to add. You can do different types of headings, bullet points, or you can simply create a new page, which if I say is further business context, then you can see now if I go to the business background page, I can see this new sub page I've created. So Notion is a great sort of filing system for all this information, because like sort of a Wikipedia page or a web page, you can have links and again, information within information. The next thing I really like about Notion is this idea that you can have structured data within it. So you can have free text data, but then you could also have structured data like this, where you actually have a database with different headings and different structures within there. So obviously this works great for tracking different projects, but you can also have historic costs, contract positions, durations of different activities. You can have these all within a database structure, so you're bringing structure to your data. Now you can play around with these different formats as well. So for example, maybe your tenders, instead of showing as a simple database, you want to show as a timeline or as some sort of task tracking view. So you can go, you could have a board view where you could have your tenders, and you could have different stages of the tenders, and each of the projects sits in one of these stages where pipeline, in progress, not started. You could show these as a Gantt charts. There's actually quite a lot of different structures you can use within Notion. And then when you want to link these with Claude, all you pretty much do is you copy the link and you tell, for example, if I go back to that conceptual estimate I was doing, you link the relevant data, and that is where Claude can look. But again, if you want to actually build this out into a process within your Claude skills, you would tell it where to find the specific data. Now, the key point that I've said a couple of times in this video is that you want this to be just for your business data. You want your project information all sitting within your Google Drive or SharePoint. Notion is just the tool where all of your projects and anyone working within co-work within a project can then access this external data. But it is worth mentioning there is a drawback to doing this, where a simple markdown file versus the same information in Notion, Claude will use roughly 10 times as many tokens to access the Notion data versus reading a simple markdown file. So my recommendation for how to do this is when you're actually setting up a new project, and I'll just stop that running because I don't want it to use up all my tokens, is you build some sort of project indexer skill, which what it does is it sets up your new construction projects. When you run that project indexer skill, you get all the relevant business context to be pulled into your Zero.ai context, and to refresh and run some sort of routine every so often that refreshes this data linkage. So that way, you can access the data from Notion. You basically run at the start of the project when you do a project indexer skill, all the relevant information you need for your project, it pulls from Notion once when you're setting up your project, so it isn't constantly going and looking for things within Notion. And all your project workflows run within the Claude Cowork folder with the markdown files. That's going to save you a lot of tokens. And then if you want it to refresh and keep up to date, if for whatever reason you're changing business information, you just run some sort of weekly refresh or weekly sync to pull the relevant data. Then again, every time people are looking for standard business stuff, you're not getting this from Notion and using a lot more tokens. You're simply using the markdown method. Okay, I hope this helps. It is sort of, Notion isn't the only tool you can use to do this. Again, you could still use SharePoint and Drive and have your files in there. I just like Notion because I think it has a really nice user interface, and it makes, because you can have these nested documents within documents, and you can also have this structured data within this setup. I think it is a great tool for construction companies to have their business context within.